at 7-4, ready to begin his summer league and professional career in the U.S.
And people go, how's he going to respond? And if history has anything to do with it, he always responds. And what I mean by that, it's not like he's getting 25 minutes. What he's going to do is he's going to be in the moment. And watching him, he stays in the moment. And he respects everything that's experience, and he enjoys it. Like, I think he's taking in this new experience, and he's with an organization that will help nurture him and not basically let this situation and this environment suffocate him.
We've seen highly anticipated rookies. I think LeBron James is the one that comes to mind in 2003. And it's hard to put him in that class right now because LeBron defied all expectations. You can't set the bar that high, but it feels like he has a chance to reach it early.
Well, he has a chance to reach it early, but it's still going to be there'll be games that he will struggle. I say Ralph Sampson more than anything else, but LeBron James had a grown man body. But how long did it take LeBron James to get to the playoffs?
3 years, right?
Yeah. So I mean, like when I look at it, people have this expectation. He's still got to experience it. Have to learn to experience it. Have to learn by having adversity. Have to learn by fighting through that. But you got to have the personality to deal with the expectation, the adversity, the process, and then the support. Because his body's not ready. His skill set is like, yeah, he's stronger than he was. But his game and the impact he can have on the game is ready. But physically, this is going to be the man. You're not playing 35 games. You're playing 82 games.
And you talked about support staff a lot of times, number one pick. You don't know where you're going to a franchise where leadership has been since the 90s and who have cultivated number one picks. David Robinson back in 87, but Tim Duncan in 97.
And he had David Robinson.
He did.
To protect him.
He did. And of course, Tony Parker was a part of that. And this was for Victor Wembenyama to come to San Antonio. I don't think we, as NBA fans growing up in America, realized how much the Spurs were the team for French people who were into NBA basketball.
We sort of pictured in Tony Parker's jersey when he was a little kid. I mean, this was like a perfect trip. This is the new, conspiracy. Pat Ewing back in the day.
The frozen ball.
And now, obviously, the Spurs. And what?
Well, this crowd is gathered. It is ready to welcome Victor Wembenyama, Mark Jones, Doris Burke, Cassidy Hubbard. They will have the call. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the captain, is in the house.
That is so good.
All the luminaries coming in Las Vegas. As Victor Wembenyama will make his debut. You can see him shooting from the perimeter.
That's where you're going to see him too. And look at his strokes. It's effortless. He'll be able to hit the top, dribble, handoff, short rolls, trail spot transition. But this is going to be just a fun night.
Fun night at Summer League. We don't get too many of these where you've got so much anticipation. We got a sold-out crowd, Spurs and Hornets. There's Wemby, Mark Jones, Doris Burke, Cassidy Hubbard. We'll have the call coming up on ESPN. Stay with us from Las Vegas. This is international fight. His card is absolutely amazing. This is just unbelievably stacked. I'm so excited. Welcome to the home of the Football World Championship. It's so much to watch. Shout out to the Hong Kong lovers. Give us the dirt. Give us the big flies.
The Go-Downers. Baseball's greatest sluggers in the Super Spectacular. Give us the T-Mobile Home Run Derby. Monday at 8 on ESPN. This season's not Super Team expectations. If you watch Liberty and how well quickly goes. Nintendo's leveling up. I'm excited to keep sleeping on. He's got confidence. And a shiny new rookie class. Slips inside, lays it in. The WNBA. We're all about the Storm and Liberty. Saturday at 2 on ESPN.
One app, one tap, you really game. ESPN Plus, remember the name. One app with a slap so mean, got big plays from your phone to the big screen. Yeah, you'll feel like a VIP. Top shelf content, blowing up your feed. One app, footwork, you can subscribe. Hell yeah, hitting bombs and doing it live. Promo, little dirty, so dirty, make you want to kick back with a 30 for 30. ESPN Plus, listen to the app. Everything you want right here, no cap.
Welcome everyone to Las Vegas and the NBA 2K24 Summer League, the epicenter of the basketball universe, the entertainment capital of the world where neon light usually dominates the desert, but not tonight. It'll be through a different type of incandescence and irradiance. It'll be emanating from one of the most hyped prospects in decades, folks. Victor Wembenyama. 7 foot 3.5, barefoot, angular, agile, sinewy, and smooth. The most hyped prospect in decades, ready to make an indelible mark on his burgeoning NBA here at the Thomas & Mack Center, which features the number 1 pick against the number 2 pick. The number 2 pick, of course, Brandon Miller, as Charlotte will be taking on the San Antonio Spurs. Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Jones alongside Doris Burke. Summer school is in session. Cassidy Hubbard joining us in just a minute. Doris, we've seen and heard so much about Victor Wembanyama, but what do you expect it might look like tonight? What do you expect?
Well, the Spurs are raving about his playmaking ability, his basketball IQ, his decision-making. So we're thinking along the lines of their Hall of Fame bigs, right? Tim Duncan, David Robinson, but is this guy more of a 4-3, more playmaker than he is anything else? I don't know, but what I know is he has landed in the perfect organization. A history of coaching great big men, a history of coaching international prospects, and obviously a Hall of Fame coach in Greg Popovich. To me, when you listen to what his teammates have to say and what he has to say, he feels very Spursian already. Humility about the work and the process of this. I can't wait to watch him hard.
A Spurs man, somebody who was very much already over themselves. Meanwhile, the number 2 pick in the NBA draft, Brandon Miller, out of Alabama, the highest drafted Alabama player since Antonio McKnight's team in the NBA, coming off a rather bumpy ride in his first 2 exhibition games and some of the games up in Sacramento several games ago. But Brandon Miller looking to make a big mark here on the ground in Las Vegas and across the country and across the world tonight as they watch one of the most recent international superstars and the beginning of his career, Victor Wembanyama. And we're underway. Blake Wesley will bring it to the front court. Here's Champagny, who had 2 strong games up in Sacramento in their summer league. Wembanyama with his first touch. 7 on the shot clock, and Malachi Branham got to the bucket.
Just gets downhill, Mark, and once he touched the paint with that size of frame, nice little touch off the window.
Wembanyama guarding Brandon Miller right now on the wing. Test his perimeter skills a little bit defensively. Wesley switches on to Miller, and Miller says, "You thought I was shaky? I'm steady tonight, folks."
And on the criticism coming out of the early summer league games prior to Las Vegas about perhaps the motor needs to be turned up and the aggression as well. First touch, first bucket.
Shot well over 30% from three-point territory last year. Wembenyama off glass in his first field goal attempt. It's off the mark. Here's Miller leading the break. Miller gets it back, relocates and missed everything. Looked a lot better on this first one here, Doris.
I certainly did, and you like the level of aggression immediately. Defender not there on the catch, had the space, the window to fire, and no hesitation.
Here's Wesley. Champagne missed the backdoor cut. Here's Wembenyama. Open side, mid-range over Jones, and he's 0 for 2.
Gets it off easy, though, Mark Jones. Very efficient use of the dribble.
Averaged over 36 a game in a small sample size. Those 2 games against G League at night here in Vegas several months ago. That 2-pointer is off the mark, and Champagne with a grab and go. Wesley for 3. And back the other way comes James Booknight. Nice little sidestep move. Jones couldn't get the follow. And the Spurs off and running. Wembenyama filling the lane. Goes Tweed and smoked the slam. Got all the way to the cup. But couldn't cash out. Booknight for 3. Book retreats it. Got to the rim and couldn't finish. Kai Jones. Wembenyama with good rim protection. And that's how he changes the equation, Doris.
Oh, my goodness. The length is going to take people by surprise. How about that pass, Mark Jones?
Timing up his teammate, Dominic Barlow.
You already see, right? He's missed some chippies and some shots he normally makes. He knows the weight of expectation. He knows his building is built for him. But boy, the presence of the rim, my goodness.
Miller under the rim pressure had it partially blocked. 5 of the shot block. That 3 is long and brand new. Good pace to this game. Nice rim run by Wembenyama. And 1. And there it is. His first bucket coming on a 5-foot little turnaround with the left hand, Doris.
There's a smoothness to what he does, a feel to what he does. So feels the initial defender on his back. Another one comes over, he's got to use the offhand, perfect off the window. And, we were speaking to the coach this morning, and I found it interesting how much Matt was talking about his passing ability,
Yes.
and how much they love his basketball IQ as a playmaker.
Led the French league in scoring this past season, about 22 points a game to go along with 10.5 rebounds. Wembenyama from a very athletic lineage. Dad was a track and field star. Here's Booknight, strong. Champagne with the board. Wembenyama's mother played for the French national team basketball. And here he is off the bounce. A couple of tweens. Champagne for 3. So he likes to distribute a little bit out there.
You've seen it twice, Mark. He anticipates he's going to draw that extra defender, and his instinct is, I'm going to give it up on time.
Charlotte has misfired on its last 10 in a row now. Wesley off the outlet. Around Miller. Oh, he got it punched by Kai Jones. Jones sprays it out to the corner. Here's a 3. Tipped out of bounds. It'll come back the other way. Trey Scott missing that 3-pointer. Look at this defense.
Yeah, you said it, Mark. 7'3". But this is Charlotte. This is a big year for Kai Jones, right? I mean, he is a guy who has shown potential, trying to crack the rotation for Steve Clifford.
After Plumlee was traded a season ago, Kai Jones got valuable minutes and reps, but Victor Wembanyama is on the floor. Back after this.
NBA 2K24 Summer League is proudly sponsored by NBA 2K24. Scan the QR code to learn more and pre-order now. Rated E for everyone.
Wait,
What?
come on, let's go to 2K. Come on, let's go to 2K. Let's go to 2K.
Cross West come hit me 2K. Yo, kid, wait up.
Gotta change. Gotta change. Oh, can't go this way. Things gotta change. Yeah. Say it loud. Say it clear. We gotta change.
Tourists. Tourists that turn into scientists. Tourists photographing thousands of miles of remote coral reefs that can be analyzed by AI in real time. So researchers can identify which areas are at risk and help life underwater flourish.
Welcome back to a sold-out Thomas Ambassador, and Victor Wembenyama has been as eager to get out here on the court as these fans have been to see him. He did lower the expectations a bit, saying he doesn't plan on playing all 40 minutes tonight, but he did say that he knows his teammates are counting on him to play a big role. He's going to be an example on defense and more of a playmaker on offense. He said that practices have been really intense even today, but he actually took a pause from workouts after the draft. He also thinks he still has a lot to learn, saying the principles of the Spurs are quote so different from where I come from. I asked him what Coach Popovich, who has been here in Vegas with the team since they arrived, was telling him to focus on while he's here. He said, being myself, coming into a new environment, it's important to not lose that sense of just being myself and experiencing. Now's the time to experience stuff on the court because when the season starts, it's about winning. Guys, the Wembenyama experience is officially underway.
It sure is, and it feels so good, Cassidy. You know, I was speaking with Justin James, a former teammate of Wembenyama's on the Metropolitans, and he said that Wembenyama's defensive presence is the thing that jumps off the page at you immediately. Not enough defense that time to stop the but offensively, Doris, they played a 3-out, 2-man defense with Wemby. And the court was congested. He told Wembenyama, when you get to the NBA, there's going to be a lot more space for you to operate, and your buckets will come a little easier.
I just love his attitude already.
Yes.
You know, Mark Jones, to Cassidy's point, he said, I think it's my responsibility to begin on the defensive end of the floor. That should be a charge. That is a nice defensive play right there. And what you love is the guys who have been in the Spurs organization already and the guys who are playing with him right now. So Malachi has said, listen, he's a team guy we saw from the first day. He's asking us, hey, you know, where do I need to be here? Picking our brains about the system, about this work. So, number one pick, you could come in with a certain kind of something, attitude. Yes, swag, exactly. But I'm telling you, it feels like he fits the ethos already.
Yes. San Antonio up by 2. Just underway here in the first quarter. Branham snakes the screen. Misfires and a rebound by the Hornets coming back the other way. Barlow picks up the ball defensively for San Antonio. Scott hands it off to McCollins. The little float game is pure.
That's a good strong move, Mark. He has across the body of the defender, uses strength to get that on. That is brilliant.
Nebraska, he's got 4 points in the game. Champagne, one of the real success stories for San Antonio this past season. Barlow authoring his own success story. Former 2-way player.
Champagne doing good things, yes. Mark. He's got it to the backboard. It's very good decision right there in the 2-man game.
Counts. Smith Jr. 10 on the shot clock. Nice screen to free him up. Rebound Hornets underneath and the stick back. And Scott with the bucket. Tie 9, 3:20 to go in the opening quarter. Random shot. And rebounded by the Hornets. Marlon Garnett, the head coach of the Summer League Hornets. Here's Bailey on the wing. Turn it over. Got a timeout.
The Charlotte Hornets trying to get to work on the backboards. Little step back three, not good. Weak side glass. Nice little up fake and finish.
His car is absolutely amazing.
Everyone is waiting. Mission Impossible is the best movie of the summer with a 98% Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes!
You will take your breath away.
Ethan, you okay?
Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, PG-13.
Wendy's is open until midnight or later, so come get that Baconator.
Go night mode. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's Baconator.
The NBA app? Oh, you know what's happening. Getting caught up on every move in real time? It's happening. Getting a breakdown on what's happening now and next. There's amazing original content. Behind the scenes, behind the backs, pregame fix, and all the action in between, all personalized just for you. It's all happening. NBA app.
Well, we were told Victor Wembenyama would play in short spurts, so in 4 minutes, 3 seconds, trying to get busy. We talked about his decision making at 7'3", acknowledging the crowd. He knows this is a sold out house for him. Good little drive. You can see his handle already. Open floor handle. How about this for 7'3"? No shovel with the left hand. Stop it, Victor. That is pretty.
What about the fact that his French coach initially made him watch the Maravich ball handling tapes, old VHS tapes, you're not going to relate to VHS, the Maravich ball handling drills to give him a sense of feel for the basketball initially. And Wembenyama says that KD was his favorite player. Nice one. And retrieval by the Spurs. Here they come the other way. Also Frank. And Penny with a miss. Bailey. And off the turnover, Wesley. Penny a little bit out of bounds.
What's the Sissoko makes the play? He stands up the triple drive. That gets him off and running in the other direction.
And Sissoko, another one of those international players for San Antonio, number 25 for the Spurs. Former teammate of Scoot Henderson with G League Ignite. I've got to point this out. Jason Hart does such a fantastic job of coaching those young professionals on G League Ignite. They come into this league with their eyes wide open, ready to learn and knowing what to expect and ready to compete.
Hey, nephew.
Now, Scoot Henderson, the previous game, at moments of brilliance.
He hasn't getting anywhere he wanted to go on the floor. Though his shoulder injury does not keep him out of the game on Sunday.
See it right here on the ESPN Family Networks. Nice crossover. Off the miss. Foul underneath and a strong putback attempt by Najee. Wow, James Najee out of Nigeria, who might be the most intriguing story and one of the more fascinating stories here.
Yeah, I ain't saying it.
Probably just telling us that his one a video on Facebook post, and that's how we initially got discovered. People still use Facebook? That's not the conversation. Scan the code to pre-order NBA 2K24 25th Anniversary Edition for exclusive access to NBA League Pass and other in-game items. Plus, unlock the Victor Wembenyama in-game items when you pre-order during Summer League. Available September 8th. See you on the court. 14-9. For San Antonio, Champagne has scored the last 5. Wembenyama, nice little crossover
Yeah, I
dive.
see it.
No finish.
Yeah, I see it.
Foul underneath. So Wembenyama
Come on,
has
Mark
the handles. He's slick with it. He's slick with it.
How many 7-3 guys are this fluid with the basketball, the handle in a tight window, and can make that kind of read? Different angles, same play, folks. Crosses over, gets the step, and at 7-3, you're going to have plenty of vision to make that play. And his instinct is do the right thing.
Make the right play, right pass.
Yeah, I'm live on YouTube with it.
Spurs up by
Yeah, my
5 points in the
laptop
goal.
recorded it live on YouTube.
Wembenyama so far with 3 points and a couple of rebounds and that one dime we saw a moment ago. As an 8-foot wingspan, folks. Tell you what, when he reaches out and touches somebody, he can
Hopefully
really
it'll
touch
go to
them.
the hurt man, but
Across the
that's
road.
what you need
The Swallows
for
want to
him.
tip up at the rim early in this quarter.
Here's Miller, the number 2 pick. Laces his second three-ball tonight.
Easy, looks easy.
Very fluid motion, very repeatable. Under a minute to go.
I think he's gonna be pretty good.
Blocks the handle. Here's Miller. With pace. Nice bounce pass.
Overall.
Charlotte basketball with 37 to go.
Like what he did in transition. The Rushmans made the right read. This is the prior offensive possession. Simple pick and roll basketball. That defender a little step up late, and he
Group
makes
on
the
the
right
ball in
read.
his hand to make his own play.
First game in the California Classic in Sacramento. Then was 6 points and 8 fouls in game 2. Wemby with the board.
Yeah, that was
And there's about a 6-second difference between the shot and game clock. He slips the screen and posts up against Miller. Got a little one. Miller tried to big boy him and body him. Healed him clean and then turned him over. Bailey on the break. Out of bounds. He'll come back the other way.
Saw number 11. That triple driver tried to attack the body, right? The lean frame is one thing people are trying to take advantage of. You just said it. Miller on the other end trying to get physical.
8.6 to go. Wemby has shown a proclivity to be able to recover defensively and still block shots when guys get into him. Speaking of shots, Wesley. And that's the end of the first period of play. Victor Wembenyama. 3 points, 3 boards, and a dime, and a block when we come back.
OTR preview.
And they had 3 shots that I see, so 3 points out of 3 shots. Not bad. And then you can finish with 12 points and 12 and the rest of the game.
You're already making tacos. Why make the margaritas too? That's cocktailing on a whole load.
For me, it's just like I won't go on either.
Prime Day is coming July 11th and 12th with 2 days of epic deals exclusively for Prime members. You'll feel like a big deal. Deals from Florida's Demo and Kitchen. It's on Prime Day. Just take a seat. Are you kicking me out? I never leave a room. I need to move out of my parents' house. Fall in love, get married, live happily ever after.
Yeah.
With you, Sandra, I'm not just salty, I'm sweet. I want to be legally bound to your roasted red pepper mouth. Together, we make the perfect snack.
Sabra, the snack your snacks would snack on. Your snacks
Yeah,
would
I
snack
agree
on.
to that.
Steelback.com right now and see how much you can save.
The piece was up tomorrow.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Thomas and Mack Center. Victor Wembenyama. 3 points, 3 boards, Block shot and dime so far. San Antonio Spurs up by 3. This is his professional debut. He switches here defensively. Whistling a foul. Hornets going to get a couple of shots. Justin Robinson. Virginia Tech went undrafted in 2019. Going to the free throw line. Robinson had 17 points in 29 minutes off the bench in a couple of games up in Sacramento. The California Classic knocks down the first. Hey, I liked what Brandon Miller had to do in that opening quarter, Doris. He looked to not be paralyzed in thought and played a little bit more fluidly as opposed to what we saw from him in the first 2 games.
Right, I think one of the things they talked to him about Charlotte just being aggressive. Open shot, open attempt from 3, take it, and he was 2 for 4 from 3. It felt like a pick and roll action, just more assertive.
Sissoko off the pass from Wemby. Back up to Wembenyama for 3. Spurs with another chance. Wesley from deep, got it. Like Wesley on Notre Dame, 25th pick last season for San Antonio. He opened 7 games last year for Spurs. Miller drives the switch, little bitty, and Wesley with the rebound.
See what I mean? That we saw earlier this summer. And a nice job by the Spurs to push tempo there. Get an early look at Bree.
You know, one thing to point out when people underscore the struggles of Miller in those 2 games, this Charlotte team really doesn't have, for the most part, a pure point guard on this roster that has familiarity with a lot of these guys.
Plus, let's remember that every team is virtually playing after a couple of practices collectively together for the first time.
Wesley sprays it out to the corner. That 3 is short. Robinson on the move in a rush and draws the foul, going right back to the free throw line for Bear. As the Hornets try to close this 6-point margin, and a moment ago, Cassidy Hubbard caught up with Brandon Miller at the end of the quarter.
Charlotte is down 3 here with number 2 overall pick Brandon Miller. And Brandon, a lot of excitement heading into this matchup. Even Victor Wembenyama picked you up on defense a couple of times. But how do you feel you control the emotions and that first quarter?
Man, I love it out here, man. I'm just excited that he's actually guarding me. Just competing at a high level, having fun with it. I know he's going to get his. I feel like it's going to be a great game overall.
And you told me earlier today that you felt this Las Vegas Summer League would be a fresh start for you guys after dropping the 2 games in Sacramento. What does that mean to you and look like here going forward?
Well, like I said, we're just out here trying to have fun, as much fun as we can, and compete at a high level and try to get a win.
Thanks for your time. Good luck for the rest of the game. Back to you guys.
From very athletic bloodlines, Miller, his father, Darryl, played football at Alabama, where Brandon also moved. His mom, Yolanda, also here in Las Vegas, providing support. Wembenyama got a rip. Back the other way, the 3. Loose ball back out to Bailey. Here's Miller matched up against the number 1 pick. Tried the skip pass, almost picked off out of bounds at the state. Charlotte basketball with 3.3 to go on the shot clock. What do you make of Wembenyama guarding Miller that far from the basket? It's kind of striking to see.
It is, but he's going to make a number of clean switches all. Look at that.
He hijacked that one. At the other end, makes the extra pass. Barlow hit the other side of the rim.
What his instinct, so his vision and his touch on his pass is something else.
Very unselfish so far, almost to a fault. Bailey blew a tire and turned it over.
So the first quarter, Charlotte was 3 for 14 from the paint. He had something to do with that. But you were talking about this, his ability to guard the perimeter. We said it, multiple clean switches, and how many times is he going to get out and block 3-point attempts because of that length?
Guy that watched a lot of video of Kevin Durant, he says, growing up and trying to pattern most parts of his game around Durant. Himself was about 6'11", almost 7 foot. 96 the screen for Brandon. Little pick and pop. Straightaway three.
He's not connected on that jump, but he's so confident, comfortable.
He's riveting to watch courtside like this. His fluidity is really something. Here's Champagne missing everything. And Jones with a rebound. 4-point lead for San Antonio. Nice dive inside. And a foul going to be called against Dominic Barlow.
He's just 19 years of age.
Yeah.
And there's a maturity about him.
Fouls get called, there's no calls. Little fouls, they
Look at the fouls. Miller will go to the free throw line. Had a great conversation with Miller and Sugar earlier today. Summer League action continues tomorrow in Las Vegas on NBA TV, ESPN, and the app. On NBA TV Saturday, Miami, Boston, Knicks, Philadelphia, Memphis, Chicago, followed by Milwaukee, Phoenix. So Brandon looks at me and says, Mark, who's officiating today? And I hope it's not the gentleman that gave me all 8 of my fouls a couple of nights ago in Sacramento. 8. Of course, in Summer League, you're allowed 10. I gave him a bit of advice. I said, make sure you get to know the officials by name. Google, do a little research, families. Be very cordial. It'll open my chaos.
I like that advice.
Barlow inside. And that's going to be a foul on Barlow.
A little spoonful of sugar.
Yes.
You're telling me.
Yes. There's more bees with honey than with vinegar. So far, Miller out of foul trouble, not in any type of foul trouble. 3-point lead for San Antonio. Wembenyama is scoring Brandon Miller right now.
Yeah, I like
Here they are.
Yeah, I don't know nobody outside.
I mean, got caught up on the screen, die on the screen that time. It'll be interesting to watch his screen navigation. He's guarding perimeter players. Got fouled that time. He's competing out there.
He is smart. We watched our coverage of the NBA draft. A lot has been talked about his routine, his preparation for what he knew was coming. Emphasis on his, taking care of his body. Historically, big men have trouble with lower extremities. So doing some early work in preparation of that.
There's a lot of workouts in terms of being able to do a lot of his exercises barefooted, core activation, glute activation. Very meticulous in his approach. Wow. Jones tried to snatch a couple of souls out there under the bucket. We got a timeout. 5-point game. So, his card is absolutely amazing. This is just unbelievable.
It's our messenger vision. What? Oh my God. This is mostly secure, most fairly secure. Yes, sir.
This is crazy.
You know what this is crazy? That SMS text that he sent me, it's unscripted. Other people might
Well,
see
that's
that. It's
doing
just like
on
other
the
people
rock
might see that letter. Here, kill him.
His card is absolutely amazing. This is just unbelievably sad. I'm so excited. Victor Wembenyama in 9 minutes and 50 seconds so far, showing that he's got power steering and power brakes and can block a shot or two. Got a piece of that Miller jacket. And then a dime to Barlow underneath. Nice rim run and a lefty finish on a 3-point play attempt.
It's a passing, though, that is really standing out for me. His instincts there and his touch on his passing. But obviously, I think the frame, right?
Yes.
The strength.
He has said, Doris, and it's important for people to understand the distinction. He says he has to get stronger, not necessarily bigger.
Man,
Well, remember when everybody made a big deal on Kevin Durant not being able to bench press? I don't even remember what the mark was. It's never proven to be a problem for Kevin Durant.
You know, Jones misses the second free throw. Cassidy has more.
Yeah, guys, it's been quite the nonstop schedule for Victor. He did the French League Finals back on June 15th, and then 9 days later, he was drafted number 1 overall in New York City, after which he flew to San Antonio for his welcome party. And then immediately after that, flew to Portland to talk about his studio with Nike for 3 days, and then back to San Antonio for training camp to start looking for houses. We're coming to Vegas here in the Vegas Summer League debut. Given how hectic his schedule has been, he has already pulled out and participated in the World Cup this summer with France, saying I had a long season with the Mets 92, and I had a long season with the Spurs, and there's the Olympics after that, and I just think that more than 2 years without rest is too big of a rest, guys.
Discernment is always going to be important when it comes to how much tread you want to burn on your time. And especially when it comes to international players, where sometimes the actual pool is not as abundant as it is with USA basketball per se. But I love the fact that he's concentrating on his craft here in America with the Spurs and perhaps in the future.
And like most organizations, the Spurs in particular have been about longevity where their players are concerned. So watching Greg Popovich and their staff navigate how many games Victor Wembanyama plays in this season, that's going to be quite interesting.
Here's Random from the edge, a little bit strong. And Miller with the rebound. The good news for Wemby is that he has Pierre Parker here as one of his assistant coaches for the San Antonio Spurs, who will also be coaching in Austin as Jones is fouled. If the name Parker, and it sounds familiar when it comes to Spurs, Pierre is the brother of Tony Parker, who was former Spurs great. And Wemby played for TJ Parker on Asvel, which is one of the top French pro teams 2 years ago. So if familiarity brings a little bit of comfort, that's a good thing for the rookie. I took 8 years of French. Right? So,
All I know is you went to shoot around this morning. You spoke French to the young man. I was impressed.
I don't get a chance to use it much in Florida or in California. Jones at the free throw line. Jones and Nick Richards, the depth at the 5 position for Charlotte moving forward. The two guys on the bit of extra Conley was dealt in February. Here's Sissoko from the edge. Line drive, never really had a chance, and Miller coming back the other way. Miller's already connected on a couple of threes off the drag screen. Hook night. Way strong. Sissoko sprays it out to the corner.
His quality play continues.
He's got 8 in the game. There's McCollins. Rebounded by San Antonio. Barlow with a nice screen. Tipped out of bounds, intended for Champagne, who had 2 strong games. And Sacramento had 30 against the Hornets and 28 against the Lakers.
Yes, Sissoko. There's 3 guys around me. That strong side corner is open. These guys got a number of good men. Rebounded the basketball.
Signed a 4-year, $12 million deal with San Antonio last year. And you know what NBA stands for? Never broke again. Carlo got his cheese. Wesley. Jeff Penny got his too. Book night. Got into the lane and almost had a nice finish. Barlow. And Wesley freezes up.
Good, man.
San Antonio up by 11. And Smith Jr. with a long two.
Smith Jr. had it not been for injuries, many believed could have been a lottery pick.
Barlow with a little floater, short roll guy, and it hurts. He's got 6. With under 3 minutes to go in the first half, the debut of Victor Wembenyama.
See Smith's level of aggression right there. He got the last one to fall. He was looking for that.
Wesley goes around the world. One more. Jeff Penny left it on the front rim. Sissoko.
The San Antonio Spurs on the run. 4 straight years, not in the playoffs, after 22 consecutive. Spurs want to be heard from again. Get out and run. Nice finish.
These 4 brothers are our last hope to save the world.
Oh, no,
Hold on a second. You can't stop us. Ice Cube, John Cena, Seth Rogen.
What are you looking at, dude? What would you looking at?
Jackie Chan, Jones Bird, Post Malone, Maya Rudolph, and Paul Rudd. I like it, Bob. I like your vibe. I like your vibe. I like your vibe. Ninja Turtles, Holy Beaters, August 2nd.
Tourists. Tourists that turn into scientists. Tourists taking photos that are analyzed by AI. So researchers can help life underwater flourish.
Cindy, do you think our crispy flavor will last forever?
All we have is good for summer, Lily.
But I love you.
No, you love the flavor of this thin and crispy
I
crust.
can't help it.
Peace out, Lily.
It's a hot and ready thing for summer and eating season. Pizza.
I remember being on AAU trips, high school games. My mom would always say, you need to fuel the body. You need salt. I would always be the kid in that grandpa didn't go fast forward 20 years and go from eating salt off to drinking it up.
Lowe's knows the best appliances, the ones that blend in. It's why we carry the new Whirlpool over-the-range microwave, designed to fit flush within your cabinets for a custom look, exclusive to Whirlpool. And now buy more, save more up to an additional $1,000.
Welcome back, everyone, to the NBA 2K24 Summer League. Doris, I haven't had a chance to drive by the Sphere yet. It's got me mesmerized, though, all the video I've seen of it. When the night's over, when we're finished working, I'm going to go take a good look in person. Have you seen it?
I have not been up close, but it feels like it's something everybody is talking about in town. It's that and Victor.
Yes. Victor with a sphere of influence around the league right now.
That's what you did.
You did.
Over 30 hotel brands around the world. Discover more at Marriott Bonvoy.
They'll help you.
Maybe there's a messenger that you
What?
Oh my God.
This is mostly secure. It's mostly fairly secure. Listen.
This is crazy.
You know what else is crazy? That SMS text that he sent me, it's unencrypted. Other people might see your text just like other people might see that letter.
You're kidding.
No.
Luminaries in the building tonight. Amongst them, the skyhook inventor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I get these starstruck around Kareem. I'm sorry. Jake Cole, a man who is a big basketball fan, played in Basketball Africa League last year. Trey Young of the Atlanta Hawks in the building as well here in Las Vegas. And Jerry West courtside as well. Mr. Clutch, one of the best to ever do it. Great part about coming out to NBA Summer League here in Las Vegas. Of course, we get a chance to hang out and chop it up with a lot of our NBA family members, get reacquainted after a long season.
In a somewhat more relaxed environment.
Yes.
Better than 82-game schedule.
Yes. Like we said, it's the screen and pops. Working against Kai Jones. A stop. Wembenyama now is 1 for 7 from the field. Smith around the screen. Wemby switches on to him. Interesting that Smith didn't try and take on Wembenyama on the switch. 5 on the shot clock. Nice weak side cut and punch for the bucket by Bailey. Under 2 minutes to go. Bailey now. Ball, and here's Jones. Bailey one more to the corner. Put Wemby on a flank. And here comes the. He got it partially blocked. And Champagny with the follow.
That's why I always run the floor, but Wesley's been the first guy up in transition on multiple occasions.
Champagny with 10 already. That 2 is off and rebounded by the Spurs as we approach 1 minute to go in the opening half. Malachi Branham out of Ohio State. Wembenyama. Branham couldn't turn the corner. Good defense. Wemby inside, draws the foul.
Ball enters the post. 2 to the ball on that box. And watch him slip to the open space, right? Everybody's pitched down. He makes himself a target on the move, the catch, and gets fouled. This is what they're talking about, the feel, the instance. You've seen it with the passing, that time on the cut.
Wemby recently said of his new head coach, Greg Popovich, he said, I want to have the type of relationship with him where he can be honest with me, even if it's harsh. Hey, Victor, Coach Pop only knows one way. Honesty, unfiltered.
Well, all their
He's going to get it.
All their greats have been coachable.
Yes.
And it makes a huge difference in a coach's ability to be effective. And I like what he told Michelle Beadle, of course, member of the Spurs broadcast team. She's like, why number 1? He said it's about a mentality. I can't see myself being behind anybody. Like he understands what's before him.
Whistle and a foul. Going to go against Champagny that time. And of course, there's always going to be the usual adjustment for international players. He was asking one of his American teammates, Justin James, about some American terms that he heard in a rap song by Lil Baby, slide. He said, Justin, what slide means? It just means we're out of here. Exit. Partir. Leave.
I rely on you for that.
Saturday on ESPN, we're going to slide right into some good games. Exclusive announcement of the WNBA All-Star Game rosters at 1 a.m., 1 Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific, followed by WNBA Countdown Team. We will get you set for the matchup between the Storm and Liberty at 2 Eastern Time. Liberty, one of the threats to the Las Vegas Aces, who have been dominant so far. Just 1 loss so far, I believe, in WNBA play. They are stacked. 15 to go. Gowers and Wembenyama put it in the friend zone. Champagny. That's going to be a foul. Wembenyama with his 3rd block of the game.
It just comes over in rotation.
That's a game changer.
It is, but it was interesting. You were noting that Smith, right, didn't want to take him on, Nick Smith. He was at the three-point line. You think he saw Brandon get blocked to be on the three-point line? What looks like space, when that is your defender, may not be what you think it is.
Guys are going to learn real quickly. 8.2 to go. First half. Wembenyama just 1 of 7 from the field. 5 points, 3 blocks, 5 boards. Champagne knocks down the second. Spurs being coached by Matt Nielsen. Former Australian national team player. That's online and just comes up to end the first half of play. The Spurs with a 12-point lead at the break. And Victor Wembenyama's professional debut here at Summerlin. Back with more after this.
OTR Premium Cocktails. You're already making the tacos. Why make the margaritas too? That's cocktailing on OTR level. One app with a slash so clean, got big plays from your phone to the big screen. ESPN Plus, it's in the app. Everything you want right here, no cap.
George isn't a cameraman, so he rented it on with a stick shift. But he paid for the gas with the Prime Visa, so he earned 2% back. Now that's rewarding.
Top corners. I know just said I taught you. What do these say their name? Pop corners. Time! Yeah!
Weight Interior Hammock provides superior daily support to nestle you in its safety soft comfort. It works by eliminating the swing and cling that causes chafe while allowing for breathable, sweat-free relief. Check out our 5-star reviews online right now. Because here's the rub. With hammock pouch underwear, there is none. Get 20% off your first order at TommyJohn.com.
Welcome back to the Las Vegas Summer League, but Spurs are up 12. Victor Wembenyama with 5 points, 5 boards, and 3 blocks in the first half. And I am now joined by the legend and the Hall of Famer, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here at halftime. And you're here in Summer League for the first time in a while since you told me since your son played here. But you're here for the debut of Victor Wembenyama. What are your impressions of the young man and the first overall pick so far in this game?
Well, I think you're going to have to learn our style of play. Finding the game over in Europe.
Have you had a chance to speak with him at all? If not, what would the advice you would give him when you do get to speak with him?
Just to be patient and just pick up what it is that comes to get it all at once. But he's got a lot of potential.
And it's such a big crowd here at Thomas and Mack Center, and it is hallowed ground for you. And this is where you broke the all-time scoring record. It's your first time since that happened, being back here. Does that bring back memories, being back here?
Well, yeah, it does bring back memories. But that was a long time ago. 1984. So, a lot has changed since then. He's been, in the game. But I think it's all been positive. and happy to see that the game has grown and is appealed worldwide.
Yeah, and what do you just think of this crowd and the appeal of Summer League and what that says about the health of the NBA at this point?
I think it is very healthy at this point. The game has appealed to young people who want to play it. So older people like to come and watch it being played. So I think it should be around for a while longer.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here at the Thomas and Mack Center tonight. We're celebrating the debut of Victor Wembenyama, but this will always be a place where you make NBA history. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of Summer League. We'll be back at the break for second half action.
This is international lightweight, and his car is absolutely amazing. This is just unbelievably stacked. I'm so excited.
When Arby's added bacon to the Wagyu Steakhouse burger, it was like, not this. Then Arby's grabbed that peppercorn ranch and has never felt more alive. Arby's, we have the meats.
The Denver Nuggets are NBA champions. Gear up with the official locker room collection. Available now at NBAstore.com. Get your commemorative NBA Finals, men's, women's, and kids championship t-shirts and the official hat. The same ones the players wear as they hoist the Larry O'Brien championship trophy. Plus other unique, one-of-a-kind designs. Don't miss out. Shop now. NBAstore.com. A Fanatics experience.
Tina's into spicy food, which is why she decided to order the Szechuan fire pot. But she's paying with a new Prime Visa, so at least she'll earn 2% back. Now that's rewarding.
Electric tricycle. The ride is designed to move you forward into the next adventure with a dual-drive rear hub motor, no matter your mobility, balance, or age. Learn more at electricebikes.com and come ride with us.
Welcome back to the NBA 2K24 Summer League. As night begins to fall here in the desert, Las Vegas, Nevada, the entertainment capital of the world, and we got all kinds of good fun for you here tonight. Tap in, Mark Jones, George Burke, Cassidy Everett joining us in just a moment. Interesting showdown here between the number 1 and number 2 pick in the NBA draft, Wembenyama and Miller, and so far, ignominious beginning.
I don't know what you want to
A
call it.
little offbeat, a little
You've seen some
unceremonious.
You've seen some flashes. Victor coming up the floor with the ball in his hands. He's shown excellent hand passing instincts. Good use of his left hand right there. Brendan Miller, after taking some criticism for not having a high enough motor and being aggressive enough, came out firing for free. Comfortable with pick and roll action. Efficient use of the dribble right there. Just a nice play by the young man. 7 and 5 respectively.
Look at the coaching numbers there for the first half. Only took 3 3-point attempts. Miller went 2 for 6 from deep, and he's shooting more than he did in previous games in Summer League. And the head coach, Rick Popovich, in attendance tonight. Here's Miller, picked up by Champagne on the switch. They clear out the sidewalk. Cause the foul, so intentional, Doris, and pointed about getting to the basket and actually shooting the basketball here in his third preseason game of this.
The Charlotte fans who were upset that he took so few shots. He took 8 in the first half. They emptied the side and they let him attack. And he gets right here to the foul line.
Miller out of Alabama, the highest drafted Crimson Tide player since, you're going to love this name for us, Antonio McDyess.
Wow. I'm not going to took the guys went to the Knicks. Might work as well as I had hoped.
This was nice for a while in the league. First SEC player to win SEC Player of the Year, Alabama player. And a good rip there. Hornets coming back the other way. Miller in transition, pulls the three. Champagne with the ball. Wembenyama takes it out to Champagne. And laces the three from deep. Champagne continues to impress you in the summer league play. He's got 14. Cassidy has more.
You guys mentioned his 4-year, $12 million deal after going undrafted last season. That was also after being waived by the 76ers just last February. So he feels good knowing I went through a tough route, undrafted, two-way, waived, picked up, and signed. He said it made it feel that much better when he signed that deal. And he said getting waived by the 76ers was a gut punch, but he took a couple days and just kept pushing. As his Spurs knocked down another one. He also said he really struggled in summer league last season. He was pressing too much, trying to learn the NBA game, but this year feels a lot more comfortable, obviously with more security, but also just having the NBA games under his belt. He did say he was really excited to play with Wembenyama. He said, I can't wait to see this and to have a guy around who has potential to be one of the greatest. He said, as a teammate, Wemby is humble, quiet, he has a little bit of a sense of humor, but it's been great to be around. He also says he needs to rent a Sprinter when they get back to San Antonio so he can take him to the best breakfast taco spots in San Antonio. That is his mission when they get back together.
Indigenous food. Here's Miller. Wemby switches onto him, moving his feet. Miller defers to Booknight. And a good decision that time. Book knocks down the three, his first field goal of the ball game. And this evening is a good opportunity for James Booknight, who's been working tirelessly in Miami with his trainer Ronnie Taylor on just the mental aspects of the game, his playmaking, catch and shoot, drills, and a lot of shooting off the bounce. And speaking of bounce, Wesley lays it in.
It's a big year for him. 2 years ago, the 11th pick of the 21 draft out of UConn. Third year is a big year for him.
Miller off the screen. Champagne navigates it well. Miller lost his balance, but drew the foul. So Brendan Miller with another field goal attempt. He's already got 8 points in the ball game. 2 for 7 from deep, 2 for 9 overall. Miller had 6 points in his last game. Mention his dad, who could have been one of the most passionate supporters. Darryl played football at the University of Alabama. So it's been his rock. Helped him go through the process in terms of selecting representation, guiding him through the process. And ended up choosing Wilbur Jackson Spencer as his agent.
I've seen Rich Kupchak. And I'm always curious, like, so much discussion about whether Scoot Henderson would be the second pick or Randall would be the second pick. Do you think the Charlotte organization, that's going to be a couple of free throws? Like, you have LaMelo in the backcourt. You agree right now in principle to his next long-term deal. Could be worth $260 million. What would that backcourt have looked like if you indeed had selected Scoot? Obviously, you go the other direction. Yeah, I'm curious. You think about LaMelo and games played last year, obviously, 36 games.
Here's a look at the depth chart. LaMelo, Rozier, Gowans on the Booknight, the guard, Simmons, Bailey here as well. Yeah, it's interesting, Doris. You bring up a great point because they brought back a second time right before the draft to get in another workout in front of the discerning eyes of the management like Mitch Kupchak and the governor, Michael Jordan, the owner of the team still, even though he's agreed to sell it.
It's just an aspect of NBA basketball that I find fascinating. I think we've all learned, right? that putting together three superstars doesn't always translate to an NBA championship. You look at the Denver Nuggets, a well-constructed roster, an organization that showed patience with young talent. Jamal Murray gets hurt. He goes to Michael Malone and says, "Are you guys going to trade me?" No. We're going to let you get healthy. We're going to continue to show patience. The organization doesn't overreact. Sticks with Michael Malone, and eventually gets into a championship.
There's a look at
Typically can do it
Rich's
some of these.
recently signed his qualifying offer with the Hornets. That's the mix.
How do the Spurs approach? I'm sorry, I'm just sort of like thinking big picture. How do the Spurs? So that's Charlotte's. Does Brian Wright have a vision for what they need around Victor Wembenyama, or do you have to let him play for a year and figure it out? It's something I don't necessarily understand that I'm always intrigued by.
How do you build it, right? How do you add those pieces?
Yes. And when do those thought processes start taking shape? Like, how much of a vision do they have? We hope to have the GM here at the table right shortly. So listen, I'm going to pepper him.
That's not a very good game.
We've all been on the other end of trying to pepper that guy.
Mark one too many times for me.
Still got the burn marks, man. Greg Popovich off the steal, but anticipation by Book Night. Raising up. Book Night now catching fire in the second half. He's got 7. And the lead is down to 11. And he will dribble handoff action. Wesley sprays it out in the bucket. Good shot by Wembenyama. San Antonio's always been one of those teams that have been able to find and unearth gems. And you think about some of them several years ago, Doris, you and I have been here for a while. I think about Gary Neal, who emerged as his first star here, and one. Blake Wesley with the layup. RC Greg Buford, Coach Popovich with discerning eyes.
Brandon has had one heck of a half with Mr. Wesley. He's been at the cup all night.
But it's first some of these games that are final.
Let's go to 2K. Let's go to 2K. Let's go to 2K. Crossplays come in 2K. Yo, kid, wait up.
Layla is our messenger pigeon. What?
Oh my God.
This is mostly secure, most fairly secure. Yes, sir.
This is crazy.
You know what else is crazy? That SMS text that we sent you? It's unencrypted. Other people might see your text just like other people might see that letter. You're kidding. No.
This season's about super team expectations.
George Liberty now will really go.
Continues leveling up.
I'm excited. Sleep it on.
He's got confidence. Rookie class.
Looks inside, lays it in.
The WNBA. All she wants to do is show up. We're all about the Storm and Liberty. Saturday action on ESPN.
Welcome back, everyone, at the Thomas and Mack Center. 5:33 to go in the third quarter. Mark Jones, Doris Burke, and Brian Wright, the general manager of the San Antonio Spurs. Nice enough to join us. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us about your highly touted first pick in the draft, Victor Wembenyama, and the mentality about nurturing and having the requisite guardrails and how you design those guardrails. How do you go?
Yeah, I think each and every day that we've been with him since the draft, and even in this moment, it's an opportunity for us to learn something about him and how to best support him, how to best support his team. And
this whole experience, all of it's been great. Great for him, great for us, and we learn every time.
Well, it just got a welcome to the NBA moment right there. Your timing was not impeccable. But I'm curious about something. We'll watch the replay. This is a spectacular finish by Kyle Jones. I don't know if Victor has ever asked about your welcome to the NBA moment, but he's going to give as good as he gets. I'm curious about something, Brian. When you draft somebody as unique as Victor, and you're trying to build an organization, how much of a vision do you already have versus what you have to watch from him in his first year and as he starts to develop?
Sure. I think we said a little bit at the draft where, we have to learn, we have to take a patient approach, with him, but also with the rest of our team. If you look at our group, we've got a lot of players 23 or younger, and they're all still coming into their own as well. And how we best build around them, I think that takes time. And, we have a vision for how we would like to play. I've put a stamp on that for years now. And how we would like to operate. But in terms of how we build out the group and what fits well around others, I think, that's going to take some time. But the fun thing is we've got a lot of pieces to grow with, and we're excited about it.
What's been the most surprising thing about Victor in terms of discovery, what you guys may have learned about him since being able to put your eyes on him in person in San Antonio for practices and in preparation for something in Sacramento here?
Yeah, I think you see one thing tonight is he's extremely unselfish, a really good passer, and he's all about the team. And that's something, when you watch the highlights, that doesn't pop in a highlight. But if you sit back and watch all of his games in France, that was the thing that really stood out to us. Is he never tried to do too much in moments of the game. He could feel for when he needed to be aggressive, when he needed to make a play for somebody else, and he stayed within himself. And that's a unique quality, especially in moments like this, where it's a lot of pressure. It's an incredible environment here, and you see it with him. He hasn't gotten outside of himself. He's played within himself and tried to play within the team concept, and that's a great characteristic there.
He feels very Spursian to me already. You correct me if it's a misperception, but there does seem to be a striking humility about the young man. And you listen to the teammates who are playing with him right now, they're talking about how team-oriented he is and how much about the work he is. How much of that did you know going into the draft?
Yeah, you try to do as much work as you can. And you have, information from people that you talk to, but obviously to see it firsthand and see that information has been incredible. And the other thing about him, Doris, intelligent, but he's also incredibly curious. The video or the photo went around of the dinner with him and Tim and David and Manu, and just the curiosity to ask him questions of what this would be like and how he needs to prepare. You just don't see that a lot of times from somebody that's that highly talented. And, it's kind of what makes him unique.
How frequently are those guys around when you talk about David and Tim and Manu and some of the guardrails, some of the culture that he has a chance to potentially absorb? Are they around much?
Yeah, great deal. And that's the beauty of San Antonio. Those guys live there.
I never see Tim Duncan. I never see Tim Duncan.
Because he's dunking out before we show up.
Yeah, no, it's great having those guys around the gym and just around the program in general. And we're always there to be a resource for these guys and help mentor them and talk them through, as they go through their own journey.
Tell us about Malachi Brown. I'm glad that became a starter late in the year for you guys in February. Had some really quick moments for him. Here in some of them.
He's a natural three-level scorer. And he kind of makes it look easy at times. And he really improved over the summer, adding weight to his frame, improving his perimeter shooting, and just, different things, adding little nuances to his game. But he is a really good scoring guard, and we believe he's got a lot of upside going forward.
Mr. Champagne has put together quite a few games here in the summer. What's pleased you most about what you've seen from him?
You love to see when guys put in work over the summer and they come to an environment like this, and you see that work carry forward. And he's an incredible shooter, but again, he's also another one that stays within himself, does what he's capable of doing, and he's been great the first few games.
Over the slam 9-point lead. Now for San Antonio. It's Branham on the wing. Another good story, the guy with the rebound right there, Barlow, has really made a wonderful path for himself. And where does he fit in the equation? He is a very intriguing young big. He came in out of the OT program, was one of the first to have an NBA stint, and he's grown tremendously over the last year, just learning the game, little nuances, adding strength. He's got great feet. You've seen him in this game switching defense guard multiple times. Very disciplined with that. So, he's someone that can definitely fit going forward. Can do a lot of different things. Versatile, smart, and he loves the game.
I was told by a scout that his AAU coach discovered him playing pickup basketball somewhere in a court in New Jersey. So he's really a late bloomer. I started playing basketball till late.
Absolutely. And his experience in the G League and the games that he played late in the season were tremendous for him. Just to build on that foundation and learning. He's another one that's really, really promising going forward.
Brian, you talked a little bit, excuse me, Mark. Yep. We have talked about your youth, and obviously it's an organization building, but you did make a signing of a guy that I love, and that's Reggie Bullock. Just talk about what you're hoping he brings. 32 years old, obviously went to the Western Conference Finals with Dallas 2 years ago, but what do you hope that Reggie adds to your unit?
Yeah, Reggie's been consistent for a long time as a 3D guy and a veteran presence where you know what you're going to get. I was actually with Reggie in Detroit a few years back during my stay there, so that's some familiarity. And, he's a guy that can spread the floor, allow others to operate in space, and then on the other end, make it hard for, the game is played on the wing. You need people that can make it hard for those guys.
Ron, thanks a lot for joining us. We saw Sohan a minute ago. This reported during the draft. Hey, you going?
I told another profession. I told him the same, but he got a lot of basketball players.
Yes, he does. Brian Wright, General Manager of the San Antonio Spurs. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Wesley inside. Miller with the block. McGowan.
Hold on, they're
Chabani underneath and got a foul. 3:11 to go here in the third quarter.
Well, we've seen some speed and some athleticism, Mark Jones. Charlotte trying to make some noise here. They had gone stretches without putting the ball in the basket. Book Knight had to drive a few possessions back. They're attacking with authority.